Hi again, everyone. Scott Pirate Popcorn Fan here, and in this video, I want to talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes a little bit. Just a few days ago, the director Wes Ball did a bit of an interview on Empire Magazine where he talked a little bit about the movie and how he related the ape culture in this movie to like a Bronze Age of the apes, and how the previous movie trilogy with Caesar and his community of apes that started with Dawn, that was sort of like the Stone Age of the apes, and like this movie Kingdom will be like the Bronze Age. And I think that was a really interesting way of describing like the time jump and how that will make the society of all the different clans of apes that we see in the new film be a lot more, advanced and involved. And I think that's really fascinating. And he mentioned how this new movie will have a little bit of Star Wars in a way that it's sort of like an adventure film, an adventure action film, similarly to the original Star Wars trilogy, in a way that it's focusing on a younger cast. Noah, played by Owen Teague, and May, played by Freya Allen. They are younger actors, and seeing how I could see what he meant in the interview when he said that it will have a bit of a younger like tone to it. I mean, like, it will have this element of it where you're following these younger characters and they go on a quest together, and I think that's really fascinating. And also, one thing that stood out in the interview when he said that most of Caesar's living relatives are gone, because this is like probably like 100 or 200 years later. But he said most, not all, which made me think that maybe there is one other character in this movie that will be like a distant relative to Caesar that's not Noah or Proximus Caesar, which makes me wonder if maybe there will be like another character in this movie that is sort of a behind the scenes kind of character, like Darth Vader was in the original Star Wars movie, in a way that might be like, because there's been a lot of speculation about Noah being a descendant of Caesar, which I do see that being the case. But if it's not the case and there's like another character in the film that is, I think that's rather fascinating. And this other character could be having his own or her own plans to take down Proximus Caesar. So in a way, there'd be like two different villains in the film, and I think that would be rather fascinating. I like how this movie is addressing certain things, like there will be elements of slavery being addressed in this movie, which is why there's another comment he made in the interview where it's not being Disneyfied, it's not being kidified. If you read the premise of the movie, like online, you'll realize that Proximus Caesar is enslaving other clans of apes in search of a secret human technology, and that's rather fascinating to me, and which could also lead to the discovery of that original atomic bomb from the original film series, which could be what they do discover by the end of the film, which leads into my own speculation that they could tease that, like they could tease the idea of that atomic bomb in this film, which I feel like that's what it might be building up to, which is rather fascinating. Granted, though, as I mentioned in that video game video that I did a little while ago, I don't really want to see the underground mutants in this rebooted series of the timeline. I don't think it would work. But I mean, they can like explore it in a way where like the ALZ-113 virus had different mutations and affected humans differently. I can see that happening, but I don't want to see the underground mutants in this new timeline. I don't. But they can still tease the idea of that atomic bomb from beneath, and that could be like how the movie ends. And also worth noting, this is still a prequel, and where this new trilogy could go, I they could realistically like do like a sort of a remake of the original 68 film with the last film in this new trilogy, but at the same time this is still a prequel, and it's set in that middle time part of the timeline where you have the original or the previous Caesar trilogy. That was the start. These new movies are the midpoint, and the original 68 film is the end point. So I don't think that they would remake the original 68 film. What they can do is at the end of this new trilogy, in like a third film, after the previous sequel to Kingdom, they can tease it and end it in a way where it's established this new society of apes, and they established some new rules with Noah as this new leader who had just taken down Proximus Caesar. And Noah decides, no more technology. We don't want any more traces of human technology in our culture. And also seeing just this new rule established for the ape society going forward, and also unifying all these different clans together. I think that would be a nice way of concluding this new trilogy, to where even though we're seeing all these different clans of apes in this new trilogy, the character of Noah, if he accomplishes his quest of freedom by the end of the trilogy, and he just wants to like unify all these different clans, I think that would be a nice little way of concluding this trilogy, and honoring Caesar from the previous trilogy, and Caesar being this mythic figure of what the ape society should be. And I think that's rather fascinating. And that's just my theories and speculations of how this new trilogy of films can end, starting with Kingdom. And if they made one more film in this franchise that concluded this reboot timeline, then they reboot or remake the original 68 film. That's when I think they should do that. After this new trilogy. I know there could be like more stories to tell even after this new trilogy, and there could be a TV show, things like that. But if they were to make at least like say they made like a 2-part film, that was the end of this new rebooted timeline, I could see them doing that, and that would be like essentially a reimagining and remake of the original 68 film. And they could just, end it there, and that would be perfect to me. That's what I would want. Because, I think in regards to what I would want in this rebooted timeline, I don't think it should continue forever. But, there's, like I said, there is a lot to explore in that gap of time between this new trilogy and the events of the original 68 film. There's still a huge gap to where they could still explore more stories and new characters, and could lead to like multiple TV shows and other like side films that could be released on Disney Plus. I think that'd be really cool. It's endless what they could do, but at the same time, I don't want it to keep going forever. And I think this rebooted timeline should end with like a 2-part film, like Deathly Hallows, for example, where it's the bookend. It's the final part, the final chapter in this rebooted timeline that is a reimagining of the original 68 film, and that's what I would want. So definitely a lot to look forward to in regards to Kingdom. Like, I'm super excited for this movie. I cannot wait. So yeah, that should do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. And also, let me know what your thoughts are and your speculations and theories about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And yeah, it's a really exciting. I'm a massive Planet of the Apes fan. I've been a fan ever since I was like 15 when Rise first came out back in 2011. And I love this franchise. I really do. All right, guys, take care and peace.